everyone, thank you for tuning in to our first video ever called Who Killed Seth Rich? Tonight with me I have Amanda, Oriana. Don't forget at the end of the video to comment, like, and subscribe to our channel called Conspiracy and Chill.
Okay, so we are going to be talking to you about the story of Seth Rich. So on July 10th, 2016, a Democratic National Committee member, also known as Seth Rich, was shot twice and killed a block away from his home in the Bloomingdale area. And at the time of the incident, Seth Rich was employed by the DNC and he was the head of voter expansion data. So he was also developing an app that would make it easier for voters to access the polls. And prior to the incident, Seth was at Lou's City Bar, which is a sports bar that he often went to. He was a regular customer there. And he left the bar that night at like 1:30, 1:45 a.m. And the police were called to the scene at 4:20 a.m. because neighbors heard gunshots. And they found Seth on the floor, shot in the back twice. And as well, he was still conscious and in a breathing state.
And they took him to the hospital and pronounced him dead. The police report is right here. The responding officer was Jody O'Leary. And basically it says what we just said. It was near a residence. It was the southwest corner of the intersection of Flagler and W Street. And it says unknown circumstances. The weapon was a handgun. And it says his name, Seth Conrad Rich. And the public narrative, it says CIC reports the sound of gunshots at 2134 Flagler PI NW. Upon arriving to the scene, the decedent was laying in the southwest corner of the intersection of W Street and Flagler PI NW. The decedent was conscious and breathing with apparent gunshot wounds to the back. The decedent was transported to local area hospital and was pronounced by attending physician at 05:57 hours. So on July 10th, 2016, he died. Pronounced dead at 5:57 later that morning.
And it was also known that night that he was on the phone with his girlfriend for a good 40 to 45 minutes.
And that phone call, we don't know. We don't released it.
Yeah.
We have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. So the first theory is that the incident was a botched robbery. So the police mentioned that it was a robbery and Seth was killed during the robbery.
Yeah, like a robbery gone wrong.
Yeah, but it's important to note that his watch, his phone, his money, credit cards, they were not stolen. They were still on him. At the scene.
And there was also a torn watch band at the scene that suggested there was a struggle. So they thought, okay, it was a botched robbery. He was struggling to get away. But usually, if they killed you and they were trying to rob you, they would take the expensive watch, the necklace, etc. Yeah. So that's what sparked the next few theories, because people didn't really believe this one. It didn't seem to be making much sense, especially since he worked for the DNC. So more theories arose.
So the second theory has to do with WikiLeaks. So it has to do like Seth Rich provided WikiLeaks with the damaging emails leading to the downfall of the DNC and ultimately interfering within the 2016 election. And in a particular interview, Assange implies that Seth Rich was one of the whistleblowers that gave him information.
Yeah, he doesn't say it word for word, but he definitely implies it. So we're going to insert the clip right here.
Whistleblowers go to significant efforts to get us material and often very significant risks. As a 27-year-old works for the DNC, who was shot in the back, murdered just 2 weeks ago for unknown reasons as he was walking down the street in Washington. So
that was just a robbery, I believe, wasn't it?
No, there's no finding. So
what are you suggesting? What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that our sources take risks and they become concerned to see things occurring like that.
But was he one of your sources then? I mean,
we don't comment on who our sources are.
Why?
Also, the next subject in this case, who's very important, is a private investigator and former detective known as Rod Wheeler. So he is a former detective for, I believe, the Washington PD, and now he works as a PI. So somebody hired him as a PI to investigate Seth's murder. First reports from Fox News were saying that it was the family, and then another report said no, it wasn't the family. Some people think Fox News hired him to further put out the story and go with their narrative. But anyway, a PI was hired by the name of Rod Wheeler, and at first he said for sure that Seth Rich was the DNC whistleblower. He was the source of the emails. But then a couple days later he retracted after the family of Seth Rich got upset and sent him a letter. So we don't know if what he said was true or not, but it's very important and very relevant to keep it in consideration. Brazil, who at the time worked for the Democratic Party and who was also caught in the emails giving Hillary Clinton's the questions to the debate in advance, the debate against Bernie Sanders. So she was already in some hot water, and apparently, allegedly, according to WND News, she was contacted by Rod Wheeler, this PI, and she felt so threatened, and apparently she called the cops saying, oh my god, this PI is poking his nose into the Democratic Party, saying, you know, he has word about a source, etc., etc. So that's important to note as well.
So another theory that's out there is that it was a serial killer or like a paid killer that killed Seth Rich. And there's actually a study that went on a few months ago, and it's called like the Profiling Project. So instructors and students at Washington University, they studied this case for 3 months, and they found out that it's most likely that a serial killer or a paid killer was the cause of Seth Rich's death, that killed Seth Rich. They said like robbers aren't usually the ones who kill. They said that to get away with such a
well-executed murder.
well-executed.
So as of right now, the case is still open. There's a lot of rewards being offered, as Amanda will mention.
Yeah, so this news network called One America News Network is offering $100,000. WikiLeaks put forward $20,000. The Metropolitan Police Department for the District of Columbia put like $25,000. Jack Berkman, who's a Republican lobbyist, put up $130,000. And American businessman Martin Shkreli put up $100,000. So, because they want to catch Seth Rich's murderers.
People don't believe it's just case closed, a robbery. People really want to know what happened. And as of right now, the FBI announced that they're not investigating the case, which made a lot of people upset, including Roger Stone, a conservative lobbyist, and he's a popular public figure in the U.S., a public politician in the U.S. He said there has to be an investigation, it needs to be done, and people are demanding that President Trump really encourages the FBI to start looking into this, because it's pretty shady. Or do not believe that he was the source of the emails being leaked, of the DNC's emails. They're saying, no, it's untrue, we want all these conspiracy theories to be put to rest. But I don't think that is for sure evidence that it's not true, because maybe the family didn't know. I'm sure he wasn't sharing to everybody that, oh, I'm the leak, you know. He probably wanted to keep it on the down low. And also a lot of times, as you see often on TV shows, whenever someone dies, the family doesn't want them to be seen as being a quote-unquote traitor to the country, as people would call him if they found out he was the leak. So maybe they want to clear his name, as he died so tragically, you know. So it's not for sure that because the family said it, it's true, but it could be true. If there's any more information, we're going to leave an update in the description box below, so you can go read it. And we're also going to leave all the links that we used to find our information.
So we hope that they find Seth Rich's killers, and we hope that they really do find justice for him.
Yeah, because it's so tragic. He was 27 years old, so even like whatever the verdict turns out to be, it has to be done with a full investigation, so the family could get closure, and America and people that have been following this case could finally understand what really happened, and maybe it could be prevented in the future.
Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe.
Thank you for watching. Yes, please subscribe. Don't miss any of our next videos. Stay woke.